Right.
I see you. I see you. I hear
Right.
you. I see you. I hear you. You in front of me.
Can you hear me?
Are you using this monitor?
Me, I
it's
don't need
blocking
headphones.
my view from your belly.
Do I need headphones? No?
No, you don't.
Okay.
You're good.
1 2 1 2 1 2. My name is Marshal Commander Philip Sibanda.
Welcome. Right. This is going to be interesting. So, before we get into matters of the day,
Yeah.
so me and Philip have got this banter, right? To see.
Is it Shona or Development?
No, it's a music banter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
So
checking.
we're supposed to do that music show.
Yeah,
so
but
we'll see
you were afraid though. You were afraid.
Are you saying I chickened out?
Yeah, you did. I mean, you were afraid. Let's be honest. Yeah.
Do you know what wildfire?
Let me know. Let me in on a secret.
I thought you'd be sexy in the night, but you're even worse than in the day.
Okay. I've been here since 6 in the morning.
Excuses.
Yeah, I've been here since 6 in the morning.
Even if you were raggedy, if you were sexy, it would still show in that ragged.
So I'm written all over my face.
Do you want your listeners to know that
Dr. Shumba says
that your gym
Maxwell Shumba says he's joining, but you'll be a bit late.
That's
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
okay, so we've got Talita TC Dube was already saying hello, Miriam. Right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers, sisters, mothers and fathers. Thank you so much for joining us this evening for this special broadcast. We've been talking about it the entire week. That we're going to have a special broadcast where we're talking about tribalism. What is a tribalism? What are the signs of tribalism, and what kind of community can we build if we don't talk to each other? We're fighting each other because of our backgrounds or because of the language that one speaks. Do I want to be in such a community? And what kind of community would that be where I discriminate somebody according to the language they speak or according to their background, where they come from, whether I'm from the towns or you're from the rural areas, it doesn't matter. All right, I think the 1873 spells it properly. We respect human beings. We only see human beings, nothing else. All right, so yeah, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Miriam, how are you doing?
Hey, you got me out of the house at night. I'm a good girl. I stay indoors at night.
I'm taking you out
this
at night
Brit
to radio.
and this African are naughty people. What are you guys up to? I just was curious just to see what you guys get up to when you're on live at night. I thought of zooming in. I was like, nah, it's not the same feeling. I gotta go to the studio. But yeah, I'm here. Tribalism. How do you tell that one is a Tutsi or Hutu? How do you tell that one is of the family of Benjamin or of Judah? How do you tell? These are areas that we've had tribalism about. Where does it end? And what impact does it have on society, on building communities? Can you build a community when you have exclusion? How different is it from apartheid?
Right.
How different is it from those that say Makwerekwere or what do they say in Zimbabwe? What do they used to say about Manyasarand, or Mabwidi and stuff? All those things. Why?
Mazwiti.
Mashina, and all that. What the whiskey foxtrot tango? I'm restraining myself.
Fox under control knowledge.
See, that's deep.
That's deep. Is that deep?
That's deep. That's very tribal.
No.
That is very tribal.
Why should we?
Does it matter? It's just a dialect. It's just a language. It doesn't. We're not defined by our.
Someone let me answer this person so that he can join us via Zoom.
Okay.
I think we have got a guest already. Wants to come in for Vic. You know what? My number is just gone unbelievable. Gentlemen, I want to say thank you so much as well. Today I'm in a different world. Can you join me through Zoom?
Fort Vic, I think just give them the Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fort Vic.
So what I'll do is
Yeah.
on Philip Sivanda's
Page. Yes.
I'll put in a Zoom link there.
Yes.
So you can basically just click on that Zoom link and you'll be able to join.
Who wants to join us now? We are giving you the Zoom link so that everybody can come in today. Sis Miriam, let's just talk.
I don't know. I think this is how I heard it.
Yeah.
This is the fable about it.
Yeah.
I heard that. I'll talk about the Zimbabwe tribalism.
Yes.
The mythology around it. Many centuries ago, the Wakaranga people of the Mwenemutapa Empire had very beautiful ladies.
Yes.
And they were agro-based,
right,
agrarian society. And they had beautiful women. And then the Ndebele had strong, muscular warriors.
Yeah.
But they'd run out of food.
Yeah.
So they raided the Mwenemutapa.
Yeah.
And they kidnapped all the beautiful women.
Yeah.
So is that where the war started?
That's the ugly ones.
Yeah.
So wildlife, you give them the details for those people who want to join.
So the fight is about the beauty and the beast, and as it turns out, Wildfire is a beast.
Now, I'll ask you a question while we are waiting for other people. My sister Miriam, you are a sister who has traveled all over. You have met a lot of Zimbabweans all over.
Yeah.
I mean, today we're actually speaking about our own. I mean, have you ever felt that, no, I think this is tribalism from my fellow countrymen? Be honest to me.
Do you mean when I was making love to Ndebele?
It doesn't matter whether it might be at work, it might be anywhere, it might be at work or anything. Have you ever felt that, but I think these people, they are discriminating me because I'm from Shona or I'm from...
No, I haven't really worked abroad with somebody from Zimbabwe. Actually.
Yeah.
Have I? No, I haven't. So
Okay.
I haven't been in a situation where... So I've always worked with other African nationalities. I've worked with, I've worked with South Africans.
Yes.
Both white and black. I've worked with... this is abroad that I'm talking about. Yeah. And I've worked with Nigerians. Yeah. And then the rest have been the locals. But in socializing, I did sort of witness...
All right. So,
Mr. Sankara.
Hello, Nkosi.
Mr. Sankara.
Linjani.
all right.
Linjani, Mr. Mawere. I did sort of witness... We've got interference.
Okay, we've got interference. Nkosi, I think you please switch off your other device. Switch off your other device that is bringing in interference, so that we will be able to hear each other and have a proper conversation. Right, it's 1873 FM this evening. All right, let's see if we can hear Nkosi. Nkosi, good evening. Welcome to 1873 FM.
Good evening, Ninja.
Hayi siyaphila mfowethu, kuhamba kanjani?
Angiphilile igama ethi Nkosi, angikwazi why izumapemisithi Nkosi, igama Nkosi phathise Cakes Bundla.
Uthini wena mina angikwazi?
Hayi. Okay, Miriam, you might
angikwazi ukuthi wena uthini.
I can speak English if it's alright.
No, I want to speak Shona. It's tribalism night tonight.
Sankara, how are you, my boy? This is Philip Simanda. How are you, my boy?
Hello, Brother Philip. How are you?
I'm so proud.
Marshall is saluted.
I'm so proud that you came in today, young man. Today we want to eye on this thing. And can you tell other people how you managed to come in so that they can join us? What made you? What source did you use to come in? Did you use Zoom?
Yes, I used the Zoom app because I teach in the very lessons on using the Zoom app. So it's an app that I'm quite familiar with. So it's easier for me just to join in. So like Philip said, if you look on the comments there, on the live, on Facebook here, there should be a link there. So if you've got the Zoom app, if you download it, there's a number there that says 121 something something.
Yeah.
So that's the number that you need to enter when you download the Zoom app, and then you can access the show.
Fantastic.
When you teach Ndebele over Zoom, I want my Ndebele in person. Like Philip, I made him fly all the way from England.
They paid everything for me.
How can you build a community when there's tribalism? And tribalism is not just about language.
Yeah.
It's deep.
Right.
If there's another myth, or I don't know whether it's fact, about the Rwanda genocide, it was driven by tribalism, or what was assumed to be tribalism, but really was light skin versus dark skin features, sharp bone cheeks. So these are the myths around tribalism. And then we've got the Kenyan tribalism. There's over 40 tribes apparently in Kenya, and there's constant spats between tribes. And then we come to Nigeria. So Africans, why can't we bring down the borders, bring down the divisions, and go back in terms of borders to when we didn't have borders? We traveled the breadth and the strength of Africa. We did our trade amicably, well, as history suggests. But what is all this? Oh, because they're Ndebele, because they're Shona, because they're Zulu, because they're Venda, because they're Kosa, because they're such. All this, where is it coming from? People?
But if you see, this is Miriam, before Sankara comes in, I think our own tribalism in Zimbabwe, I'm talking about Zimbabwe, is it, you know, they are... Shona and Ndebele think they are the only people who are, you know. I mean, when you look at...
Yeah, they think they're only ones.
They only, what is, Sankara, what brings you to us? Let's hear what he says.
I greet you all viewers of the show, the panel there, and the host himself. I greet also all children of Ntu and Twa, Banaba, Nu, Na Twa, wherever you may be in Southern Africa. I greet you all, Banabato as well. So by saying that, I just wanted to firstly and foremostly to say, in Zimbabwe, or should I say in Zimbabwe, in Southern Africa, we don't have tribes. I don't know about in West Africa, North Africa, but within our current, even currently and historically, we never had tribes. The problem is when we start to use Eurocentric words to describe our own community. The reason why they called us these things was because they didn't understand our social structure. Our social structure was too complicated for them to understand. So they brought a European thing to our land. Tribes is a European thing. They have Germanic tribes, Celtic tribes, and so on and so forth. We didn't have tribes. We had different clans of people who, as time went on, by moving and talking and intermarrying, they developed their own languages, which then became states, or should I say, a so-called, what we call today, countries or kingdoms, and so on and so forth. So, for example, the people are not, it's not a tribe. It's a language which was a mixture of Sotho and Venda, when Venda and Sotho people intermixed over the Olifants River. So sooner or later they created a language which was a mixture of the two. But then when they intermarried a lot, they started to create what we call a state, which became the Bapedi state out of that. But it's not a tribe. It's just different clans or families, the Kupes, the Mbedzis, and so on and so forth, who lived in that area, who intermarried with other Basotho, and so on and so forth. So if we remove this tribe thing in the first place, I think we can start off very well. The reason why we've got, some people say Manika is one tribe, Makorekore is one tribe, Makaranga is one tribe, Makalanga is one tribe, is because, again, of that Eurocentric view. When the Portuguese came, they called that whole Great Zimbabwe Mukaranga. But then as time went on, they were now, when the British came, they were pushing the northern part of the country, which they were trying to push the Korekore side. This is why Korekore became the most popularly used word, and so on and so forth. Because the Monomatapa Empire, people intermixed Monomatapa and Great Zimbabwe. It was two different time scales and two different empires. The Monomatapa Empire, which was in the northern part of our country, was where the Korekore lived. So that word became more popular. But if you look historically, those people are just one family who went to live in different places. Manika and Mabaro is same WhatsApp group. Mabaro and Makorekore same WhatsApp group. Makorekore and Makaranga same WhatsApp group. Makalanga and Makaranga also same WhatsApp. This is why their language is similar. They are all this language they used to speak, the original one, was we call today Chibani, which is similar to Deep Karanga. That's what it is. So if you go to Harare, when you speak Deep Karanga, they say, unotaura Chibani, it means that you're speaking the original language, which was Chibani. And that is intermixed with the Kalangas. They are all one people. So when you have sometimes people, you have a political party in the western part of our country, which is called MRP, towards the Republic Party, and it's run by a man who's called Mkondisi Moyo. He's a Moyo with the Moyo laws with people. But sometimes you hear people saying, I don't like people from Masringo, but you're all the same group of people. It's just that we as Africans, like you said, we have no borders, we just move everywhere. You understand? So I think that by killing, that's why Samora Machel said, for Zimbabwe to prosper, the tribe must die. That's what Samora said. Because Samora Machel understood that we had a brewing problem, which was being used partly by ZANU-PF, should I say. And also, just before I'll stop in a minute, the two things I wanted to quite forget. Number one, we need, firstly and foremost, to understand that our people never discriminated each other from what family you came from or whether what languages you came from. History shows that exclusive. We never used to discriminate on your language. That's why you've got Kumalos who use Dube surnames. You've got the Morphus, which is the Bahera people.
Sankara, when you say our people, you said our people there. Our people. Say that again.
Our people never used to discriminate on each other based on language or what family you come from. This is why Kalangas, when they see you, they say Mabuyani, which means where have you come from? What are you where are you coming from? Because they were welcoming people. A lot of so-called Nguni, the people of King Ziligas, they settled and were welcomed and were hidden by the Kalanga chiefs, the Malabas, and so on and so forth. Then the second one that I wanted to say was, most important, let's stop this myth thing. Myths are dangerous because myths are what are propagating tribalism in our country today. There are many myths, for example, the likes that King Ziligas came and killed the Mambo king. That I've always said in your life, Philip, that is a myth. It's not true. It was Nyamata Nadamini and Zwang Endaba. Let's let our history properly. Who killed the Rose king? It was not in Ziligas. When Ziligas came, the Rose Empire had already scattered. It was finished. There was Soshangane there. Then there's another myth that King, I just heard the sister there say, that King Ziligas stole all the beautiful Shona women, and the Ndebele women are beautiful. I wanted also to say that is another myth because the Ndebele women were so-called beautiful only because it was a mixture of many different ethnic groups. But the reason why Mugabe's family and everybody was coming to take women in Matabeleland was because at one point Matabeleland had a lot of different family groups there. The reason why Ndebele women are excluded.
Right. No, thank you.
Gozi.
Baba Jan.
I love your energy.
Baba Jan.
Yeah.
All right, let's
line it up. Yeah. You cannot be speaking authoritatively because you are not there. So what we all ought to do, it's for all we care, it could all be myth.
Yeah. What didn't marry any Shona women.
It can only all because we were not there on any of these scenarios. We cannot be basing today's decisions on what may or may not have happened, and we cannot even be having arguments about things that were not even recorded. And this is why time capsules of this day are quite brilliant to record and to capture what's happening, and well, more for future generations or for ourselves, for our own gratification. We cannot speak authoritatively on things that happened where we were not present, and that is the biggest problem. And that, I think, is the root of tribalism. Somebody trying to import themselves into a time travel backwards where we were not. So as much as you are very eloquent and articulate, I love you, my brother, but I think we need to leave from where we are. I am here in the now. What am I about? What is it that I want to achieve in Africa, in the world, where I am? What difference can I make? I cannot be basing my decision today of what is the lineage of the Morphus, the Dupes, because that has no bearing. My great-grandfather died without a computer. I've got a computer. So what is it that I want today? That can make me a better person.
Right. Let's go to the comment section and hear what other people are saying.
Yeah.
Right. We've got Cheka Chokweda.
Yeah.
Right. Who says tribalism is not only in Africa or amongst Africans. It's a worldwide, and it's the same reasons why there are so many divisions. Then Cheka as well says teacher vataura avo. All right. So and then Benford Mufuradze says is Kola denying that Ndebele is used to raid Shona places. All right. So we'll come back to you, Nkosilapo.
I've got another one here.
Yeah.
This one is from Ghetto B. Get Love. He says, how can we live without the history, my sister? I think they are answering my sister Miriam. And then another one called Royal Linda says, oh, really? I didn't know. Thanks. I think he was meaning the comments by the young man. They took from
the young man.
Yeah, sorry. They took from the Kore. And then where the Kore started in South Africa, Puti. And then another one says, great contributor to this young man.
Right.
May I have 1 or 2 minutes? Okay, let's continue.
Right. Okay. So we talk about Zimbabwe, which is a country right now of less than. 15 million? Less than 16 million people. And there's so many things that are happening. Each and every one, whether you are Shona, you are Ndebele, you are affected by the situation on the ground. What is it that we ought to do as a people? Not as Shonas, not as Ndebeles. What is it that we ought to do to come together to solve our problems? I mean, I've seen pictures of Highlanders supporters. I'm a staunch Highlanders supporter.
Yes.
But I was disturbed.
What is Highlanders?
It's a football club. It's a football club in Bulawayo.
So what do they do?
So this guy, there are these demeaning statements, which were imprinted on the back of their T-shirts. With the aksoga mawako, like if it's not you, it's not your mother's thing, you know. And this is in relation to the ongoing fights within the city council of Bulawayo, and they're now taking it to tribal lines. And what kind of a Zimbabwe do I want to see? Do I want a divided Zimbabwe, or do I want a united Zimbabwe? Right. I think we've got Bongani also joining us. Bongani, good evening.
Before Bongani comes online, I just want to say this statement. I'm not sure which language it is, but it's Umuntu Ngabantu. You are because of you are human because other human beings are. So over to you, Bongani.
Right, Bongani. Good evening. Okay, we also have Mr. M. Mr. M, good evening.
Annie, you muted him, that's why you come in.
No, he's the one who's muted himself on the other side. But let me see if I can assist him. But while we try that, Mr. M, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi.
Mr. Tribalism.
Hey, young man, how are you? I love you. You run away from me, young man.
And he's in the dark. That's tribalism. He's in the dark.
Young man, you ran away from me. How are you?
How are you, Mr. Spanda? Welcome to South Africa.
I love you so much, my brother. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity. We welcome you. Thank you so much. I've taken over your office now.
Okay, so let's assume it's midnight. And you are Ndebele.
Yeah. Oh, who say that? Who say that?
Hello?
Yes, you can go ahead. Bongani, I will immediately remove you. He hasn't finished saying what you're saying and you're already insulting. Please get out of this house. We can't be having people that are insulting. If you are coming here to insult, please don't be part of this conversation. I'll remove you immediately. Bongani, that's very disrespectful, what you just did. I don't know who you are, but don't ever do it.
Thank you.
You're right. You can continue, Mr. M. Okay. I think it's tribalism is a global thing, and identity politics is very big. It's as old as human existence. So when we look at the world, the way it is shaped, You can also see Trump is trying to create a tribal America and to energize people on the basis of tribalism or identity. Yet everything we do in life actually shows the different way of looking at the purpose of life. If you look at outcomes, the mind on its own can do so much. But when you bring a mind and you share experiences, you may be able to provoke somebody to think differently about identity politics. So let's look at the tribe of an apple. Just that fruit. How many tribes do we know?
I know the red, there's green.
Yeah.
There's...
I know the red.
I think you're saying colors.
Okay. All right. What are the tribes? What are the apple tribes? An apple is an apple anyway.
There you go. That's better.
Yeah.
An apple is an apple.
Yeah. Just the skin color.
Do you agree that there are tribes of apples?
Yes, they are.
All right. Mangoes.
Mangoes. Is there different types of mangoes? Mangoes. Nkosi, what's your take on mangoes? Are there different tribes of mangoes?
Yeah, there's GMOs in there, but
No, some of them don't even have green skin.
they're yellow.
Some are yellow, some are ripe, some are not ripe. And so Ngosi, when you look at the blueprint of life and its operation, do you agree that diversity was always part and tribalism is always a gift of nature?
Did you say, do I agree that tribalism was always what? What was the word you said? Bad or part?
Tribalism and diversity is a gift of nature.
Oh, yes. I don't know about tribalism, but yes, I agree.
Just the idea of grouping yourselves and pretending you're different.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll come get you.
I agree with that one.
And the power to discriminate.
Yeah.
Is it a gift of nature?
Yes, it is.
It's a gift of nature. I'll say it's something that you accumulate as you grow up.
Do you agree it's a choice?
Yes, it's a choice.
So anything that you choose to do, you can choose to even be the most pretty person in your mind. And no one will disturb you.
Right. True.
So can we have an enlightened way of looking at tribalism and celebrating the artificial differences that we may choose to have? But when it comes to value, we break those boundaries. Because if I'm looking for a mango, do I care who is selling it?
Baba Mutuma, I understand you. What I am saying is, when I say there was no tribalism, I am not saying that we shouldn't celebrate our diversity. I'm not saying we were not different. We were different, and this is why I say Umuntu, you say Bano, some say Bato, and so on and so forth. As time goes on, you start to develop your own ways of life, your own cultures, and you develop your own traditions. I'm not saying that when I say there was no tribalism, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying there was no tribalism, or should I say there was no discrimination against one person because of the language that they spoke. That is has been proven evidently. That's why this
when are you talking about what time is it that you're talking about?
I'm talking about Southern Africa, maybe from the 1700s going forward.
Or
And we're talking in Zimbabweans here. I understand the Zimbabwean discussion.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying we all were not there. Is it true?
We were all not what? Sorry.
We were all not privileged to be there during the time that we are talking about.
But there's evidence now. Me and you are evidence of that intermarriage and that love and that unity amongst each other. Just look at how our districts or our areas in Zimbabwe are formed. There's different types of group of people living there. If you look at Cholocho, for example, it's a prime example of many different types of group of people lived amongst each other without no favoritism of what language you were. And then just look at your surnames, your mutu, or your family structure. Me, I've got Venda and Moyo and Koi within my family. I don't even have Ndebele, I'm not Nguni. So I just speak the language because I live in the area. All the people, most people here, when you look at our social structure, by talking of first just by administratively in Zimbabwe, then looking at yourself personally, you'll find that there's an intermix of each other. So if there was that discrimination based on language, then why is it that my mother is Venda and my grandmother is a Kalanga and so on and so forth? Because they wouldn't marry, would they? And this is when you look even at our totems, when you have the likes of Tao. Tao is Tao. In South Africa, it's a Sotho term, but then it's taken over into Zimbabwe and it's being Guninized. But it is also different versions, got Ndlovu, Nzowu, Tro, and so on and so forth. You are the same people, but when you move different area, you just change the way that you pronounce your language. Just look at, I would say, just look at the way our country, even South Africa by itself, how it's set up. If you look from Limpopo province, you will see that people intermix. My mother is in Singo, living in Zimbabwe, living in South Africa. So it's evidence that, of course, our people must have intermingled. This is how we came to the Zimbabwe we have today.
Right.
Sankara, I think you need to say ga 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 and give him answer to a time to talk, because Sankara, can you hear me? I know you are so emotional about this. I probably Mr. M wants to answer back with some other things you have just said. So say something and then let him talk. And then we've got another guest somewhere.
Right, we've got B. Mafuadze. Mafuadze, good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm all good, but I cannot see you.
Yeah, that's because my screen is set up in a position where it will be difficult for me to expose my face.
Okay. All right. No, I shall not ask. Right. What's your take on the current conversation? I saw you were also participating in the comment section.
Yeah. You know, I like what the caller is saying. I think most of the time people don't realize that we didn't have a place called Zimbabwe. Okay, there wasn't a place called Mozambique. There wasn't a place called South Africa. Those borders were created by colonial people. Our people used to interact within the whole region without any borders there. Yet in this day, the moment I cross the Limpopo, I'm supposed to be in South Africa. And that distorts our history. Unfortunately, in Zimbabwe again, the caller is right. It's almost difficult to characterize somebody as Ndebele now, because if your mother is Shona and your father has a degree of Ndebele blood, are you Shona? Are you Ndebele? What are you? It becomes again very, very difficult because of the intermarriage that the caller said. I wish we could all look at ourselves as Zimbabweans and fight for development in our areas as Zimbabweans without putting a racial label to it or a tribal label to it. I think that would be that would take us far as a country.
All right, and I think let's also go to a bit of comments that are coming up as well. We've got Benford. I think that's you, Benford. You said if we wanted to progress, we need to identify ourselves as Zimbabweans. Every corner of Zimbabwe belongs to all of us. I often hear people from Matebeleland crying that their place is underdeveloped by the Shona, but most of them have never set foot in Mashonaland. Harare is not all for Zimbabwe.
Before comments on that, I just want to welcome my sister from another mother. I don't know. Have you ever been to Britain?
Britain.
Yeah.
Okay,
Great Britain?
I'm waiting for her to leave it so that I can switch it on. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's on now.
Yeah, now you can talk.
Princess, my sister from another mother and from another geography. And because when she came in and I said we're talking about tribalism today, because we're supposed to have some sushi tonight, she goes, "What difference does it make?" So welcome, Princess. Yeah, you tell you. What are your thoughts, my sister?
Guys, we get so caught up and so emotional about things that supposed to strengthen us instead of looking for ways to split us apart.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many ways to interpret information or to interpret a situation or a culture or a people.
Yeah.
And if you are always going to look at everything with a negative light, there will always be conflict. Why not enjoy that I'm South African and the other person is from Zimbabwe and from Congo? Enjoy the culture. There's differences, but there's also things that connect us as Africans. We're talking in another women's group now about Africans, you know, during the slave trade who don't have the roots that we have as Africans. And you take that for granted that you know your culture for hundreds of years and you are here in Africa amongst your people.
You can't even accept
and you
another
can't
person.
accept that. Imagine how disassociated people that were taken from Africa, going to other countries to be slave traded there. Imagine how displaced those people feel. You have your roots, you have your culture, you have your country.
Should they feel displaced? They're not the ones that were taken, and this is the individual.
The point is that they are missing 400 years of history that you, as an African.
But do we even have those that were not misplaced to slave trade? Do we even have a week's history? Do we even know what has been happening with state capture? Do we even know what is happening with
that is a parent's job to make sure that you put in culture in your child's upbringing. Because why I am so I'm Xhosa, to be more specific.
Yeah.
You know, I know my culture because my parents insisted that I go home.
You know your parents'
to my roots.
culture.
That's where I must know where my parents came from, where my grandparents are buried, where my great-grandparents, where my ancestry is.
But does that have a bearing? I'm adopted. Does that make a difference as to who I am?
Okay, let's give others a chance because time is not on our side. Right, Mr. M, I think you wanted to come in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when you look at human beings, if there was a factory of humans and we were to come out and we all look the same, would that be desirable? Secondly, we have a radio platform where Mr. Ngosi can be the provocateur. He is possessed with a lot of knowledge about things that happened in the past. And it's good because that's part of memory. If he's lying, we can't prove he's lying. Because the people who lived that time are not here to defend themselves or authenticate themselves. But here we are today. And we are 5 people now. And what tribe do we want to give ourselves tonight? So that henceforth we can build on that tribe.
Yeah, what tribe are we tonight?
What is a tribe after all? It's a WhatsApp group.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, you can come in, Mafa. Yeah.
It's one point. Yeah, thanks. I wanted to say there is nothing wrong with identifying with our cultures as Tosas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'll give you an example of Chinese. There's about 1.2 billion Chinese in the world.
But you're already explaining. You don't even have to explain anything. You've already said a statement.
Let me finish, Mr. M.
Yeah.
We all assume that Chinese are a homogeneous group of people, okay? But they are not. Okay, but when you meet them, he's not going to identify himself by his ethnic.
I'm saying is Ngozi is talking about we.
No,
And
no,
I'm not sure.
it's my it's an error, my brother.
Yeah. So okay, I'll answer Mr. M. So for me, what I would prefer is our identity at the moment is Zimbabwean. That's the identity we should all carry.
No, right now we are on Zoom. Why can't we give a Zoom identity?
I don't know whether that would be relevant to what we are discussing here.
Because we're all over the world.
Yeah.
This is the fundamental issue about identity.
What is it that we can do as a tribe? Let's say we call ourselves 1873 tribe. Then we on what we believe in.
Brother, Matuma Mawende. First point, I didn't say we. When I say we, in my context, I'm talking about Africans and Zimbabweans and South Africans, my sister, my closer sister here, because we didn't have borders before. We just lived all across. These borders were drawn by the Europeans, which is fine. Okay. So now we are forced, unfortunately, to live under this country called Zimbabwe. So when I say we, I'm talking about Zimbabweans, like this brother Mafubate was saying here. That now we are Zimbabweans.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's Mafubate. So now we are Zimbabweans. That's what we should be focusing on. I think that the debate that we're having was what's the problem with tribalism in Zimbabwe. That's why I was trying to give a historical perspective. But it seems as if some of you are not interested in history. And then secondly, but I'll also say that history is very important to understand how we got here and where we go forward. That's number one. Because our history has been misconstrued in Africa. This is why we've got most of these problems that we have. Then number two, what I wanted to say was, I appreciate that you are saying that people were not there. But if I just gave you an example, and I say to you, the wife of Joshua Nkom, Umamuma Fuyani, her father worked and walked and was best friends with Lopemula. I think this history, we think we're talking about 500 years ago. We're only talking about 100 years ago. We've got people who are 100 years old right now. So it's not long ago, but it's okay. I will let Mafuga carry on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was almost done with my point. The point that I was trying to make is, with the Chinese example I was giving, is the different ethnic groups. So when I first came here to the US, I met a Chinese guy, and I assumed that everybody in China eat dogs. And he told me, no, our ethnic group don't eat dogs. Okay. That's when I realized, okay, this is 1.2 billion people with different ethnic groups, they have different cultures, which they are proud of. But when you meet them, they'll tell you, I'm Chinese. And I wish as Zimbabweans, that's the identity we carry. And at the same time, we should also be proud of our cultural heritages. I come from Bikita, and we do have our cultures. I will be proud of that.
Yeah.
But above all, I project that.
Okay.
Right. So Mafuadze, I just want to say this to my brother. You're in the United States of America. Bikita will always be your origins. That cannot be erased. But what does Bikita help? I don't know what trade you are in. But when you're in, there's a statement. When you're in Rome, do the Romans as the Romans do. I find that quite relevant. And a question was posed that we haven't answered as a tribe here this evening. And Kosi, I think you got blinkers on a little bit because you're saying exactly the same thing, but in a different manner. Because what you're saying is, why can't we all recognize that we're human beings foremost? And there were no borders, there was intermarrying, there was freedom of movement. And Mr. Maweres asked, how do the people in this meeting right now, got 4 or 5 on Zoom at the moment, we got 4 in the studio, and we've got several others online right now listening to the power of my voice right now. And what is it that we want about after tonight? What is it? Do I want to have this conversation tomorrow? Hell no. I want to be moving on. I want to say, Princess, where's the next biggest energy deal for women? Philip, what's cooking in England? What are the opportunities that Brexit has created? Mafuadze, you're in America. What are the opportunities that are created by Trump building the wall to Mexico? Does that open a door for me to come and do? That's what I want to be talking about. That's the 1873. In 1873, there were no borders. So I'm saying, bring down the borders. And you people that are with me right now online, give me a hand, throw me a line and roll me over to the other side to achieve the greatness that I want. Over and out.
All right, let's quickly go back to our comment section and let's see what others are saying. Signor Uncle K, I think. You're saying a tribe is a group of popo in a part of, I think it's people, in a part of our society made up of a number of families who are commonly linked by social, religion, economy, bloodline, cultural value system, language. You're saying each tribe, okay, let's see that. Each tribe has its own leader who is appointed following their traditions and guiding principles. That's a protocol. Right. We've then got Don Tamira, who says we had borders before. Get your facts right. You couldn't get into any state willy-nilly. There were security measures in all states, starting with the watchmen who would be on the lookout for intruders. You had to send emissaries first before access into, say, Mutapa state was granted. Right. Then Zwelani says, I think we are splashing water on the topic. The guests seem to drift a bit. Okay. Right. So those are some of the comments that are coming via the online platforms. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, this is why we've got the Zoom link that's shared on our social media platforms. If you want to add your voice and you feel some issues are not being addressed, you are more than welcome. This is an open discussion for everybody to come. No one has got the right or the wrong answer here. It's an open platform. It's an open conversation. Let's have those frank conversations. If you are feeling angry and you are ignited to add your voice, come through, jump in, add your voice. Let's hear what you have to share with the rest of the world.
Right. Just a welcome message to Chrissy. Chrissy is our regular woman in business.
Okay.
Her tribe is woman in business, and she's joining. Our usual 9 o'clock session was women in business. So I thought, what a perfect opportunity to join in the tribe of business. That is the tribe that I like to associate with. Anything else maketh no food on my appear on my table.
Right.
So welcome, Chrissy. We started about 45 minutes ago. We're talking about the problems created by tribalism, what it is and how to nip it in the bud. What say you, madam?
No,
Hi, Miriam. Can I just listen a bit? Then I'll.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you. Welcome.
Yeah.
Maybe Chrissy, do you agree that humans by nature always group themselves into some kind of animal? Whether it's a community, clan, or nation.
Yes, I agree.
You agree? Okay.
I've seen it happening.
Yeah, so we always make groupings. But imagine we have a windscreen and a rear view mirror. Which one would you want to use?
The rear viewer.
That's great.
A windscreen.
Because it's wider.
Soft spoken.
It takes you to some address where you can eat.
Yes.
But we have some people who want to take us to things that we have no capacity to change.
No control.
And I thought Mr. Spanda, the author of the title,
Mr.
what did you want to get out of this conversation, Mr. Spanda? To talk about the Ndebeles butchering the Shonas, or Shonas butchering the Ndebeles, or being accused of being selfish. What is it that you had in mind?
To bring people together.
I wanted to bring people together, and I will stay with my words that especially my brothers and sisters in all borders, especially our borders, I want us to love one another, unite, and stop this thing of saying, that needs to stop. That's why I travel all over, coming here to talk to my young brother, Tuma Maore, about this. And I want to educate him as well.
Okay, assume you are God. What would be your day like?
I'll let my sister Miriam answer for me, because I'm losing my temper over you, my brother.
Assuming,
I want to provoke you
it's working.
to be human. And don't worry about even kids. They say they have a colon, is it?
Yeah.
Cats and the colon.
Yeah. Cats and colon, yeah. That sounds familiar.
So they got a tribe as well.
Yeah, they do.
So tribalism is a gift of nature.
Yeah.
Because we are endowed with the power to reason and free will. If somebody wants to be Ndebele and operate on Ndebele value system,
But it dates back.
Yeah.
should it be my business to evangelize them to change?
Not if
Change.
not if there's no money in it. Why would I go?
But
Can you imagine a pastor opening a church and saying no tithes, nothing? No. So if there's no stake in it, there's no need
so
for it.
let's congratulate Sibanda, who is thinking hard and fast, even planning to talk about tribalism. And after we talk, it's like a dog barking, Sibanda.
Yeah.
Does it stop you from moving your car?
No, it won't. But those with ears,
Will have heard.
those with ears like Mr. M, you can finish my sentence. Those with ears, and Miriam, you can finish my sentence.
They will have heard
Yes.
and been provoked to act in a way, whether that is self-destructive or
Yes.
Right now, let's say Gosi, Mafuadze, and do you think it's good for us to build institutions?
Right, so maybe let's start off with Nkosi.
Bossy.
Nkosi, do you think it's necessary for us to build institutions?
What type of institution?
Good question.
Right, that's a very...
I think let's agree on. Let me ask you on one of the values we have and see your comment. We,
What type
as
of
the
institutions, Matuma, so we can move Mutuma, so I can answer.
yeah, let's say the institution first. It says it's built around values, not ethnicity.
Okay, that's fine.
So
Yeah.
we must agree on values.
Yeah, one more comments.
Hey, sisi yangira kukakura wundi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
that
One
was-
of the values is that the individual is the address of all the empire's creativity, innovation, not a group. that as we are talking, we are individuals here.
Are we not missing
We don't have a script.
tribalism?
We don't have a tribal
The
template.
So how do you change if you're just gonna go?
We just came on this conversation as individuals.
No, it's just a question. You know, 'cause I think we.
Some will be busy, afraid to say, waiting for the other dog to bark faster like me. And then she says, I'm now ready to what? I'm fired up to talk.
Who is laughing? I think she's waiting
It's
for
Chrissy.
Chrissy.
All right,
yes,
Chrissy.
Guys,
Chrissy,
let's
okay,
speak
hold on, Mr. M, for a
voices.
second. Chrissy, you seem provoked there.
No, I'm just laughing because I was clear that I have some time. I've just connected. And for me, tribalism, it's all about belief system, and it's how you grew up as a child.
Yes.
You can see my skin tone, so that's why I'm laughing, because I grew up in a township and I was, chased every single day that I'm a colored and I don't belong in that township. So, but
do you look colored? Do you look colored?
my mom, she's colored. My father is black.
But what about your mind is
black.
colored?
I'm black.
And your mind?
I'm black. I'm a spirit being. I always look at people as a spirit being. I don't look at people. I see you as a tank that is holding a spirit. So I discern a spirit when I meet a person. I don't have a problem with your skin tone, your height, your age. For me, it's your spirit. I discern, can I work with this person? I have worked with everyone by truly discerning your character, your integrity, your belief systems, your values. Those are the things that speaks to my spirit.
This afternoon I was talking to Miriam, and she has an initiative called Women in Agriculture, which is a tribe, an identity. She's trying to play politics. And I said, where are the women? Because even lions have a pride. They create their own tribes for promoting their civilization, for protecting their civilizations.
Yeah.
So I said, can we create and have Chrissy? Chrissy, you know what a director is?
Yes.
Of a company.
Yes, I am a director in a few companies.
It's also a tribe of directors. They call themselves Institute of Directors or IOD. It's one way of gaining a better advantage on life. When you group yourself around something, even if you are doctors, just imagine there were no association. Just imagine soccer without FIFA, without rules, without SAFA, without PSL, even netball, without order, without organization. Would we love these sports that we all follow without rules? Imagine baboons kicking the ball.
This is Mr. M.
Okay, all right.
I've got comments of people fuming, and before I hand over to my brother Philip and my other brother Wildfire to go into the comments, I just want to say this. Thank you for bringing up that tribe of women in business, the tribe of women in agriculture, the tribe of directors. Isn't that, people, what we should be aspiring to be associated with? Things that progress our individual capacities. I'm calling out the women that are aspiring to be something notable. People are sending very emotional messages about Gukura Wundi. People are sending very emotional messages about Mugabe, a frail old man who has no hold on your life. Why do you let him control you so much? People are calling out about all sorts of Zuma being this, Ramaphosa being vendor, and all this. What has that got to do with what you got to do yourself? So as women in agriculture, I'm looking for a crop of women that are prepared to take the initiative. I don't care where you are, as long as you can show up on Zoom. You are the right woman to be trained to be a director.
Yeah.
There are opportunities that are lying idle, not claimed, because we are not up to the task. We can't put together a business plan. We can't put together financials to access the financial assistance that the governments have even facilitated for us. We spent so much time this week with banks. Spend so much time with other financial institutions. They have funding set aside every year for black farmers. They even give them tribal names: black farmers, women farmers, youth farmers. But where are the youth? Busy fighting about tribalism. What nonsense is that? When we've got an opportunity, it's 25 years after Madiba got us into freedom. We are in the freedom walk of life, and yet we're not seizing the opportunities. So please, let's stop being silly and nonsensical and rise to the occasion. Can you imagine if the white people got here and got into a meeting to set up insurance companies, and they started saying, oh, you're from Wales, I'm not going to work with you. You're from Ireland, I'm not going to work with you. They didn't do that. They just said, guys, there's an opportunity, let's get together. And still there were tribal fights between the English and the Dutch. But those that grouped together made something of themselves. Cecil John Rhodes died young, yet he's still earning revenue from us, people. Wake up and stop the tribal talk and do some tribal getting together in institutions that matter. Because that's the sort of tribe, the sort of institutions that we're talking about. What am I building? Nkosi and Miriam, if we get together today in Nkosi, what are we going to do instead of spitting out about tribalism? What are we going to do together, you and I? What is your skill? You're a good teacher. You've got a huge following. What are you going to teach people that they can use physically for their skilling up? So if you're interested in initiatives that make a difference to individual building and branding, radio at 1873fm.com. Radio at the 1873fm.com. And if you want market space, if you're making beads for tourists, if you're making shoes, if you're selling furniture, whatever it is that you do, hello at the 1873market.com. Simple. Let's do the simple things that are within our control and see whether life won't be sweet. And
Right.
sad.
Okay. Thank you for that.
I think the other thing before you go to the
All right,
comments,
Nkosi, I'll come to you. Just hold on a second. Yes,
I
Prophet.
think before we go to the comments section, you know, we are seeing so many comments which are very, 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 very. I mean, I'm afraid to read them. But if people have got such comments, if they can come in and tell us, because you know, if you go on comment section, you finish on comment section.
Yeah.
I'm not forcing them to come in, but they must come in so that we
Speak your
know.
mind.
Speak your mind. We don't want to leave this topic. People saying, "Oh no, I wasn't given a chance." There are so many people who are saying, "My sister in Zimbabwe, it's not like that." It's not like that. Yes, tell us. Come in. Feel free. There are so many people now. We are starting about the tribalism. I know there are some people who are saying the government of Zimbabwe should have recognized the Kukuraundi issue and so many things. Come in. We talk about it. But we as presenters, we don't want to be put in, you know, into crossfire. We are here to moderate, to talk about this topic, so that you guys, you can tell us your problems. Then, if we can take this problem to the government of Zimbabwe, then we can. So come in. That's what I want to say.
Right. We've got Don who says real fights between the English and the Dutch was tribal. Please, Philip, bring to the panel people who are in touch with the topic being discussed. Right. I don't know, Don, who is the right person or who is mandated to be in touch with the topic. There is no expert. There is no expert in this panel. Everybody is adding their voice. So if we are all equal. If you've got something to add, come in, and we will share with the rest of the world your contributions. But I don't think there is anybody who can claim to be an expert on tribal issues.
We saw Cornelius coming in. Is she still there, or we
no? Cornelius,
she can come back. I think maybe
right.
Yeah.
Okay,
go on.
Okay, Nkosi, I'll come back to you, my brother.
Princess
yes.
wanted to say something.
Oh, you want to say something?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, say something. Then we go to
There's
Nkosi.
something that's very important that we need to differentiate between,
Okay.
because tribalism is just a word for a collective group of people together, fundamentally. So we need to differentiate between being in a tribe by birthright and being in a tribe by choice. Because as adults, we make the choices of which tribes we want, what people we want to be around. Then you pick your pack. Then you pick the people that you want to be around you, that inspire you, that push you, that drive you, that make you want to be a better person. That's a choice as an adult you have. But there's also the tribalism that is the traditional aspect of where you were born, what your roots are, where you're from, what language you speak, how you practice your cultural beliefs. You know, there needs to be a line split, because those are two, for me, I feel those are two completely different topics. You know, because we can go on about the traditional roots of where tribes come from, where it's a form of passing information down generationally, depending on where you are born in the world or what group of people you are born to.
You associate.
Yeah.
Exactly. But then when you grow up, then the decision is yours of then picking what people you want to be in your tribe.
Right?
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it's
Before Nkosi come in, I will have to be honest with you, Sissy, Miriam, and all of us here. And you know, I got some, before I came in here, when I was doing a research, I went to Joburg meeting some other people. They just talking before we came to the, and a lot of people, especially my brothers from Matebeleland, I have to be honest, they were saying in Zimbabwe, they are sick and tired of that you go to Plumtree, Sis Miriam. The boss of the border post there is from Murewa. And then you go to another big institute in Matebeleland. You find that the boss is from Maswingo. And you go to, that's what a lot of people, they were saying that. So that's why you see a lot of comments here, they think that we are not, actually, we want them to come in, those people who are saying, yes, because they are saying, another guy gave me an example. He's saying there's a nursing school in Gwanda. He says if you go there, almost half of the school is people from Mashonaland.
I think that sounds like corruption.
Yes.
And
so,
nepotism.
you know, we need this. We need, Mr. M. Do you understand what I'm trying to say, Mr. M? Because I have got to come in here and actually bring things which I was talking to, so that people will say.
But this is quite pertinent. You did advertise this program, and the worst thing that can happen is someone missing out on an opportunity to appear here and actually voice their own opinion and on. You know, I've seen Ndebele CEOs in Harare.
Yes.
So does that mean that there's something fishy in that? I have seen directors in Harare. I have seen listed companies. So let's share these things in the open. And sometimes perception is misconstrued, and sometimes it's emotionally attached to Gukura Wundi, to the politics of the day. So we need to learn to be factual people.
You remember when you advertised about this program? 1 minute, wildfire.
All right, just one moment, Mr. M. We'll come to you.
Yeah. 1 minute. When we advertised this topic, we saw it became into politics, saying MDC in Bulawayo, the leader of the MDC has brought
Do
councillors.
you want to open that
No,
can
no,
of-
do you understand what I'm trying to say? It was on the comment side.
Yeah.
And then it started and started and started. But those people who were sending these comments,
They're not
they
here.
are not here now.
So
So
what do
we
you
are
want?
looking like fools. I want them to come in and say, we were talking like this, like this. They sent me to come in here.
No, we
talk
can-
about
we are
it.
just-
Yes, let's continue, Mr. M.
All right, before we
Someone
go,
is asking for the number.
Yeah.
They want to call. They
Yeah.
want to call it. Yes.
We have a anchor that is a group anchor. And what I know is if I put an Indian to be a security guard, the next thing there will be an Indian cook. Then the next thing there will be an Indian office. And if I take the first Zimbabwean who went to UK,
Pin the number.
very soon there was another one. Then there's another one. So what Princess was saying, let's listen to her. What Miriam was saying, let's listen to her. What Philip is saying, I know Philip, you have a constituency that is angry. Angry at the condition that is a reality in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Indian cooks.
Yeah.
They want to voice, they want this Shona tribe to be accountable. But within the Shona people, there's no one voice, it's not homogeneous. We can talk and say we are poor because they are rich. And it's like somebody who says, I want to strengthen myself by weakening the strong. But who's going to motivate me to be the strong when I have already weakened the strong? If you look at development globally, right now there's a Trump tribe. It includes his son-in-law, his daughter, his extension.
Yeah.
Yesterday it was Barack Obama. It also includes even President Zuma is surprised that is at a state capture inquiry. But actually President Zuma is saying, what I'm accused of doing is what other people are doing now. So it's not easy to answer those difficult questions, Philip.
Yes.
We can have a show where people throw whatever, but tomorrow it will still be the same after we throw the tantrums.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The only way we change this is for us to know each other and to start having conversation that take us to another level. But I'm not too sure that you want to spend your time with people who know exactly that there's no Shona mind. I've never seen it. I've been looking for it, Philip.
Yeah.
I don't know what a Ndebele mind looks like.
I don't know either.
Willing to go there and discover it. Because I'll discover that it's a human mind. It's aspirational. It's a creative. It is a problem-solving mind. It makes choices.
right.
They're good. Some are bad.
Okay, all right. So let's also welcome Clementine. Clementine, good evening. Welcome to 1873.
Good evening.
All right. What say you, Clementine, on this subject matter?
It's a lot of things I want to say.
Okay.
I'm trying very hard to be respectful, one, two, not to seem as if attacking certain people personally. Yes.
Right.
I saw this notification come up on my screen, and I came on here with the understanding that it was a discussion about tribalism.
Yeah.
Mr. M's humor is not lost on me. I'm not that, highly strung that I can't see the humor in certain things that he said. But at the same time, we are all here wearing different caps. I could use this to plug what I do in the day, or what I'm about.
That's what it's about.
Whether you're about business or academia or whatever, floats your boat. I think when people are not heard, they're not given an audience with what affects them.
Yeah.
Certain things don't go right.
Anger.
Yeah, there's too much anger.
We can equally say with the racism or white supremacy, the
Yeah.
white people didn't need to have the discussion because they were right. The system
Yeah.
That's
favored
not
them.
true. That's an
Yeah.
assumption.
There's uprising that
Serious
needed to,
Welsh,
that
the
came
English and the
about.
That's true.
The
And
Irish.
Yeah.
once
Yeah, no, they don't like each other.
a few of them
That's not true.
understood what these black people are going on about, what are they marching about, and got their
This thing
buy-in.
will never end.
They
It
got
won't.
power. Nelson Mandela would have never come out of prison solely by black people.
Yeah.
They're very
Yeah.
key and important white people in this world, movers and shakers
The
of the
Watsons,
world,
the
who were
Bosasa.
involved.
English is an
And
English.
he
Like
was
Joe
never
Slogan.
and he was never just let
Yeah,
out
she must be
just
Slogan.
like that. So, oh, you're free, you go on. There's certain things that he had to agree to. I'm not going on here about conspiracy theories or whatever. So it feels very patronizing and very belittling
Yes.
when we go on about business tribe or the other
Remember, I
tribe.
was told I sound
We know exactly what
Exactly.
we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're under the umbrella of Shona, because there is no such thing as Shona tribe, if you can speak the language, you land in
Yeah.
Harare, you can do things with ease that you take for granted.
Yeah.
You
That's
walk
choosing of
into a
tribe.
doctor's office, a clinic, anywhere in
Yeah.
that is not Matabeleland or Manicaland or what's the other province, the south, where the vendor people are from. The person doesn't want not better energy. And I see both sides of the coin because I've got Swana, my grandmother is Swana, I've got Kalangas in my family. My father is Karanga.
So it's just an-
Developed in my family. My mother is Swana.
She's like
Those three things.
Yeah.
So I see it and I call it out. And
Some
even here, actually, I think
will never
the
end.
people in the diaspora
Like
are
racism.
worse when it comes to tribalism than people at home. I
Yeah.
was giving an example to somebody the other time. I said, if you were to go to a market, Musiga, MCA, and you find a Shona lady, Postori, and Mdebere sitting next to each other selling. You'll find that the Devele woman will be talking Devele all day, the Shona person talking Devele, having a conversation,
Patient.
laughing, smacking their hands in the air, and enjoying themselves.
Right, Clementine, thank you. I mean, there's things we can change and things we can't change.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's your tech. There's things we can change and things we can't change. Some things we found them and we'll leave them as they are. I mean, when I was born, there was war. It came and ended. There was hate between one another, and it will never end. But what is it that we can do to make a difference today? I think that is what we need to be focusing on. We are talking about tribal grounds here. They've been there from day one. But what is it that we can do? Us that are enlightened, what can we do to make a difference, to make a change? I think that's my take.
Yeah.
Yes, Nkosi, I'll come to you, yeah?
Just to be fair, you had said you bring me on here. So, but it's okay.
No, that's why I'm coming to you.
The thing that I wanted to say, I'd like to play it fair, and I'm a guest. But what I wanted to say was, you see what the sister was saying? I think she's covered most of what I was saying. We are being a bit patronizing here. The people who joined this discussion here are people who wanted to know about tribalism in Zimbabwe, not business tribalism, not concepts of all time. We're talking about the real issue. Because
is the show is not really about tribalism. It's about how can we change this idea of tribalism. What is it that we ought to do? Like I said, Uguti, we found this thing when we were born. Obviously, probably some of us would die and would leave tribalism being there. But what is it that we can do today to make a difference? You and I, Nkosi, are enlightened. Clementine, you are enlightened. You know there is a Shona, you know there is a Ndebele. What is it that we can do together to make a difference, to make a change? Because we're all about change here. We're not about tribal grounds. Tribal grounds were there from day one.
Let's celebrate our uniqueness here.
It wasn't as widespread as it is now. We've got a sister from South Africa here. I know I can see the reaction. You may not agree. We've got a sister from South Africa here. The tribalism in South Africa, which I said there's no tribalism, anyways, but it's okay. It's a story for another day. The tribalism in South Africa is not as rampant as it is in Zimbabwe right now. It's not the same, right? So let's just put that there. That's why I want to talk about. It's there. The tribalism is bad. It's a problem that we are having right now, and the problem is being caused when people say, "Forget about this, forget about." That's why I wanted to give a historical background, because the Kukura only thing, unless it's resolved, we won't move past that. And another thing that the sister I'm going to talk fast, because I know you like to cut me off. The other sister, Miriam, was talking before. She said that we don't have, it's not really tribalism. It's a form of nepotism. You are very right. Albert Nyati did a song. Everybody is bringing in their own. It's part of nepotism, it's part of corruption, but it's also tribalism. Because, like the sister Clementine was saying, some people, sorry, I know you're saying, well, what is, well, we can call it tribalism, we can call it a dialectism, you can call it whatsoever ism you want to call it. But it's a thing that whereby certain people from a certain area are benefiting than everybody else within the county. You've got this even in Manicaland, whereby people in Mutare are crying about this Harare bureaucracy that is going on over there. So it's something that we need to address. You can't, it's not tying in just what we're doing here, we're angering. The people in the comment are upset because they expected something here to be discussed, to have a constructive discussion on the problems we have in our country. We're running away. I also wanted to say, somebody said the youth of Zimbabwe, I don't know who said it, who said the youth of Zimbabwe, they are focusing on tribalism. I want to correct that one. The youth of Zimbabwe are not as tribal as you elderly people are. I'm talking about setback going down. We young people, when we meet each other in nightclubs, we sleep with Shonas, guys. That's the last thing we talk about. Zimbo, that's it. We move on. The tribalism is mainly on the adults, the elder generation. And that is because of recent historical things that have happened, especially in particular in Matabele and so on and so on and so forth. So we can't ignore that. So I've corrected the issue on the youth. The last thing that I wanted to say, how do we resolve this situation? I wanted to say, we must have the respect within diversity. You see how it is in Limpopo? I've been to Limpopo. I've been all across South Africa. In Limpopo, when you are in Limpopo, the most famous art musician in Limpopo is Benny Mayangani, Thomas Shauke, and Machwa Bermuda. Is their own people. You respect their diversity. Uplifting other people's diversities, whether you're Mkaranga, you are Mkalanga, you are this and that, it's very important. But our government cannot do it. It's a government, and the government should have taken a very big responsibility. This is why Nelson Mandela is the rainbow nation. Like the sister said, he had to compromise. There was compromises he had to do for the unity of the country and the freedom and pieces of the people in South Africa. So that's something that the government must do. But we as people, what can we do? We must look within ourselves. Like the sister said, she's got Mukaranga. I said to you, I've got the Venda, I've got the Kalanga within me, and I've got Khoisan within me. You as an individual, as a person, you must remember when you look at another Zimbabwean, look at them as a Zimbabwean, understand the ethnic and respect their ethnic background. Can I nini ndikaenda ku Harare? Do not taura shola and figure Harare mnampe itile tone ndani and so on and so forth. Nyati masora say konai, I can break it if I want to break it. They will correct me when I'm wrong. But if I go to Binga also, I will go there and say Mwapona and try to speak Chitonga there, respecting each culture. We have a thing whereby some people are not respecting other cultures when they are going to different areas. But that's something that we have to respect. It starts with you, me, Michael, DJ, and Philip. I know Philip is conversant in both languages. Sister Miriam is not, unfortunate, but she's a Zimbabwean. So maybe you must learn this in the
No. You're making an assumption, and that's a huge problem right there. I am not even of Zimbabwean origin. I am from various nationalities, including.
Assumption.
Assumption, and that is problem number one. But I just want to say, where I get into a locality where I'm not familiar with the language, it is a choice as a human being, and there's rule of law that governs us in jurisdictions, and in those jurisdictions, whether I'm in England, whether I'm in America, whether I'm in Harare, whether I'm in Bulawayo, there is territorial laws, and I gotta respect those laws. Those are the constitutions that we're talking about when we say rule of law. Respect rule of law, and the first and foremost important thing is to respect a human being. The moment you respect human rights, all this tribal thing becomes a non-event, a non-existent thing, because you respect a human being, a creature of God's power. So what I want to say to people out there, we have opportunities, and my character is about sharing opportunities. That is my tribe, not Shona, not Ndebele. I come from, I even have some Dutch blood through my mother, so you can't even package me. This attempt of packaging people is so wrong.
Can I answer?
So let's. I just want to extend an opportunity to be true to my word. We've got Cindy, who's recently been appointed a director, and she's extending herself, availing herself for women that are in business, that want opportunities, regardless of what tribe you are. She wants women that are aspiring to be in business, because we've provoked her and say, how can we aspire? It's Cindy Mabaso Koyana. So she's going to be available at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, telephonically, so over Zoom, and she's going to be giving us nuggets. She's been a financial controller in Transnet. She's sat on different boards, including the FIFA boards. That's the tribe I want to join, and that's the tribe that makes money. So that's the tribe I want, and that's what Miriam's about. Miriam is neither Ndebele, no Shona, no, because there's not even anything called Shona. I've got so many blood streams flowing through me, and a little bit of English from my exes in me. So, just for detail.
I want to come to that, my sister Miriam. I want to answer my young brother, Sankara. Sankara, for me and for you and for Mr. M, to speak both the languages, it was an advantage, yes, to us, maybe because of our parents moving to different places and whatever. You understand? So for those who didn't manage to speak a language, let's not blame them. Let's not blame them, but let's encourage one another. Not to say, Philip speaking, they will speak Shona. Maybe I did Shona because my mother moved to a certain area when I was young, and then So let's not make it an issue here, Mafana Sankara. Let's respect that someone is willing to learn, but we want to move forward, my young brother. Do you understand what I mean?
The language. I didn't speak the language. I didn't learn to speak Shona Chitonga by living in an area. I encourage, because I love my country and I love all my people. That's how I taught myself.
Yeah, but also you
encourage you, sister, to learn to speak Ndebele, because you were saying that you don't speak Ndebele.
All right, let's also recognize Makwaba. Makwaba, good evening. How are you doing?
I speak.
All right, I think we've lost Makwaba there. Anyway,
he's there now.
Can I say something?
Yes, Mafalds, you can go ahead.
Yes.
I only speak.
So the way I look on this topic, this is why what Ngosi was saying at the beginning of the show is very, very important. Understanding the history. Understanding the history helps us to understand where we are and how to move in the future. At times, if we don't understand the history, then we create problems that are not there to start with. For example, if you look at even the Gukura Wundi issue, most people look at it as if Shonas in their collectiveness connived to attack Ndebele people. No. Gukura Wundi was never a Shona Ndebele thing. So unless we understand the historical context, the full history behind then we miss the point. Okay? So, because of that misunderstanding, there are people today in Matabele who hate Shona simply because they think they murdered our people. Yet it's not the case. If somebody is working in Rwanda and they are on a dust road, in their mentality, that road is not tarred because the Shonas are having all the resources. Yet when I go to Bikita, I also walk in a dust road. Okay.
True.
And in Bikita, we are blaming the Zezurus. We think in Jimba, where the Zezurus, this is where everything is. And in the process, we miss the bigger picture. Even to have a genuine conversation in Zimbabwe and to say, how do we distribute our resources equally amongst our places without bringing in the tribe thing? Okay, we miss that if we start to think that this and that tribe. One of the examples that Ngozi gave, there was an industry in Harare a long time ago. Everyone who was working for that industry was from Ashingo.
How can you prove that?
And he made sure that he employed only Karanga people. And it becomes a problem when we exclude people of other ethnic groups based on their race or their ethnicity group. It becomes a problem. It does not matter whether it's between Shona and Ndebeles. Even between the Zulus and Karangas, it becomes a problem. So again, as I wind my presentation here, if we are to look ourselves first and foremost as Zimbabweans, okay, then we seek to work for the development of us as Zimbabwe. I'll give you one last example of what was happening recently in Bulawayo, where people were saying we don't want these Shona councillors and stuff like that. We also have to realize.
All right, Mafaudze, please, Mafaudze, in 60 seconds, wrap it up so that we can start wrapping it up here.
Sure. What I was going to say was you could realize the person you're saying to go could be your father. Okay. Could be your mother, who is Shona as well. So, at the foremost, let's look at ourselves as Zimbabweans. Then everything else will come in. We should help each other. We are all Zimbabweans. That's the main thing at the moment. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, let's wrap it up. Okay, let me see who's there to wrap up. Nkosi, wrap it up in under 60 seconds as well.
Under 60 seconds, I'm timing myself. Thank you so much, Banabe Zimbabwe. Thank you so much, Banabantu Natwa Nyabonga Lonke Banabe Zimbabwe. Taboka Sichava says Zimbabwe. Cool. We as Zimbabweans, as people, like the brother who just finished, let us look at ourselves. Let's put our country first because we're within this border. We want to fix this thing. Let us not, like he said, let us not employ or put people, let us base people on skills and qualities rather than what area they come from and what dialect they talk about. Our history is the reason why we are here. If maybe one day we can try and teach each other the history, we can understand that we were never in this way. The reason why we are here is because of past occurrences, but we can look past that. Just to finish, I want to say, let us stand together, united in our diversity. Our diversity is important, but also we are Zimbabweans. All
right, thank you so much. Clementine, you want to wrap it up also in 60 seconds?
She's muted.
Okay, sorry, I thought you muted me. Thank you so much. Having said all we've said, at the end of the day, people just seem maybe to be concerned about money. And it's a fair point. You know, there's a gentleman by the name Baba Dick Gregory, he's late now. He said, the funny thing, some people, white people, they believe that they're superior than black people. But unless you know if the stock is going to fall or rise tomorrow, you're not white. You may as well join the black people because the country is run by people who have money. So sometimes when we are in the position of not being affected by something, we never make an effort to understand where the other people are coming from. There's a lot that needs to be done in Zimbabwe as far as education is concerned. People, the Batonga, need to learn Tonga in school.
Yes.
Their language is being lost. The Venda need to learn Venda in school. Their language is being lost. the fam will need to learn closer.
All right, Clementine, 60 seconds is up. Clementine, your 60 seconds is up, yeah. Right, thank you. Right, Magwaba, are you there? All right, I don't think you're there. Mr. M, are you there? Okay.
Yes, Mr.
Right,
M
also in 60 seconds, your closing remarks?
Yeah, when we begin to be inclusive, technology has allowed us to do so, then we can see the true potential. Because here we are, divided by geography, by space, yet we are on the same platform. And should we call this platform a Zimbabwean platform or a human platform where we can exchange ideas, recognizing that each one of us have a history, a story to tell. And if we all started telling our stories, our aspirations, where we need to go, we'll go far.
Right, thank you. Miriam, your closing remarks in 60 seconds.
That is very tribal.
Mm-hmm.
Give me 60 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Gender discrimination,
right.
Racism packaged in one. Well, we are human beings first, and we are aspirational. So we're constantly looking for things to better ourselves. If I start with a BMW 2000 series, I want to be driving the X5 next. So aspiration drives me, not tribalism. So if it's about me, it's about making a better life for myself, and by participating in a community that is like-minded and visionary.
Okay, right, thank you. Right, Uncle Signor, good evening. All right, you are not there. I've included you. Profil.
First and foremost,
I'll give you 120 seconds.
No.
That is gender.
That is gender. Right, first and foremost, I would like to take the opportunity to thank you guys for giving us this opportunity. Mr. M, thank you so much. And I would like to say sorry for bringing such a topic, because a lot of people, they are still emotional. But my last remarks on this thing is, I will love the constitution of our country. Yes, I'm not. Today I brought this especially to us, my brothers in Zimbabwe, even though we are talking about South Africa. But to change the constitution, because I think these languages, every language in Zimbabwe, it doesn't matter it's shown and develop whatever. Yes, there are 16 languages in Zimbabwe. I wish the government of Zimbabwe, whoever is in, they can talk about this, because they seem to be ignoring this. We have a new constitution. Every school must include these languages. I'm telling you, we can have something, like Mr. M always say, we can have something like Mr. M. That's my 60 seconds. Thank you so much.
All right, no, thank you, Profil. And Princess, you want to also add your last...
I can take your time. I can buy your time. It's trade. The power of money.
Go right ahead, sister.
Right, I've bought your time.
Right.
You see, this is an example of how you can live. You don't know, some of those Ndebele people have been paid for time by a Shona, and some of the Shona people have been paid. So people, the emotions are rising. There's a lot that could be said. Some of us are activists, and we've written a lot about Kukura Wundi. So let's not make assumptions. Let's take time to chill, relax, and get to know each other. Get to know the real Wildfire, the real Philip, the real Nkosi, the real Signoro, the real Mawere, the real Mafauze, the real Clementine. And that's what matters. Deal with each other at an individual level, and then forget about this group, grouping. That was not 60 seconds. We're at 49.
No, but
you're
coming from the second 60
you
seconds.
Can't tell time.
No, you're coming from the second time. So, hey, let me clear.
You're 60 seconds.
I love how I got left behind in this listing of
but
people. I gave her airtime, and now she's leaving me behind. What happened?
My sister.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you. Yeah. All right, thank you guys. Right, thank you so much for joining us. It's the 1873 fam. It's been a great pleasure hanging out with you. And Profil, thank you for making this happen.
Whole music. call octopus. You have to experience it to believe it. It's just epic.
Oh my God!
Santana, 1 on 2. Boys. 1 on 2. Thank you.
My mother's gonna laugh a little bit of Dutch. Well, that's the rumor. My great-great-great-grandpa was a
That's a very good topic.
Yeah.
So your ancestors came to
colonize.
They took an ambushment.
Wait.
So not colonization, it was ambush.
You're driving, yeah?
We can teach in the comments.
That's it.
That video tells you that the white Americans were very clear that there was a mistake in America to elect Barack Obama. That's why
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Come, Mrs. Miriam. Come.
Because that contamination.
Come 1 second.
What's happening here?
Oh, look at that. Thank you, guys. I'm in South Africa.
This is Amandebele, Amakosa, and Ama Mexican, and Ama Watchwans, and Ama Shona. You call me Shona, I'll get a pellet gun.
Thank you so much. I know you enjoyed, guys. Thank you so much.
Alright.
Thank you, guys. See you later. Bye bye.
Friday. Cocktail.
I love you guys. Come on, I'm likes.
Ooh, I'm
likes.
Give it up for the DJ.